for him.
Yeah, because I saw it was 11-11. That's why the guy should go down to a tiebreaker.
Well, I'm happy for him. And otherwise, though, the streaks continue in the Dynasty League.
Yes, it does. And I like my chances this week against the Monkeys.
The evil Monkeys. Do you have? I have not looked at your lineup. Do you have bye week concerns?
Nope. Nothing that I have to really worry about. I don't know, Tom Brady goes on a bye week. I have RG3. You know? I got Mike Williams and Denarius Moore on a bye. Whatever.
I have Mike LaShore on a bye. That's about it. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I got to play somebody at running back. Listen to this, dude. I have to ask you about this. I mean, Ike is such a bad trader. He offered me today. He wanted LaShore, and he offered me Bilal Powell. And no Sean Moreno.
You know, it's sort of funny. I was thinking about that today. Because one of the things he's bitching about me about is how I changed the rules. I was like, I never changed the rules this season. But in fact, he got Vincent Jackson and Calvin Johnson breaking the rules. Because the second year of the league, we expanded to more defensive players. I basically said the first 2 rounds of the draft are rookies only. And from that point on, you can still draft rookies or offensive players. I mean, defensive veteran players. Well, the second round of this draft, which is rookies only, he drops Vincent Johnson. And it's like Vincent Jackson, one, is not a rookie, and he's not a defensive player. I'm almost positive we was only supposed to be defensive players because we expanded from 6 defensive players to 9. Okay?
Right. So I wasn't in the league.
No, you weren't in the league. So I said, everyone's allowed to draft whatever they want after this round. I was just like, you know, and when he said it, he looked at me. So one, he dropped the name, and two, he was just like, so fine, I gave it to him. And a couple of years ago, like in, I think your first year of the league, or maybe you weren't even, I don't know. It was close. It was either your first year, and your second year. Well, he can go all the, I never programmed the trade deadline, ever. I just posted it. This is the deadline. So I posted it for a Friday, November 21st or something, right? Justin accepts the trade at 7 o'clock on a Sunday, okay? And the reason why I know he didn't propose the trade is because he could go all the way ask for Jamal Charles in a first-round pick, for Calvin Johnson. That's not a trade. That's not a trade that Ike would propose. You know what I'm saying? He would propose like fucking, Bobby Ingram and Kevin Boss for fucking Calvin Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at that, so I looked back at this one, because he's claiming that I'm fucking, changing the rules. But meanwhile, he picked up 2 huge players breaking the rules. And now that I've established rules, you got it. And you just tell me that trade proposal just sort of puts, like, I don't know how to explain it, icing on the cake that, like, there's no way that he proposed the trade and the other guy accepted it 2 days after. He accepted it 2 days after the trade deadline, like 7 o'clock on a Sunday night.
I expect that kind of behavior from Brad.
No, I think he's the worst, man. He is the worst. Brad will not break a rule, like, for the most part. Ike will push every rule. And, yeah, I mean, LaShore for what? And he told me he's out of the league, so I already posted. You're not allowed to trade draft picks.
Right.
So don't even counter with draft picks. Don't even put me in that position.
No.
You're being bored.
I can't trade with him. Nothing's reasonable. I told him for months that I I hate Moreno. I think he's not going to do anything. And obviously he doesn't.
He's like the third running back there. They got the kid that the Hillman kid.
Well, and I have McGahee in the Klein League. So, obviously I know what McGahee's doing and what everybody else is not there. And so does the whole country because Denver, every game for the Broncos is on. Plus I have the ticket.
And, exactly, dude. That's an awful trade.
Yeah, he wants Moreno and Powell. I guess maybe he thinks that I value Powell because of Sean Green.
Yeah, he loves exactly. He loves to give handcuffs for your fucking number one. And, there's no way he would offer Jamal Charles. There's no way he would propose a trade like that. He'll accept it because he probably saw, he can get Calvin. And he was thinking this year, what I'm saying, at the time. And he accepted it.
See, that's why I never even thought about really, and he shouldn't have been in the baseball league to begin with, it sucks that he took forever to get paid, and the only one who's short him right now is Riz, which I'll pay him next time I see him for that. But, that's why I never quite, I thought it was a mistake to bring him into that kind of dynasty league, and he's not, there's certain personalities that are needed for that kind of environment. I hope that he stays in your league because he's a great football mind. He's very competitive, and he's the standard, at least in my division.
He's driven me up a wall.
Well, and that's why,
You said that text about the scoring system. I flipped on you because, dude,
I knew you would, and I love doing that, dude. You fucking every time.
Seriously. Don't send me texts. Seriously, you sent me like 5 texts.
You do every time I text you, especially on return yards. Because since I came in the league, I've been texting you about return yards and then defensive return yards. And you know what? You've brought them in, and I have to give you credit. And but they're.
I always wanted to put return yards in my league. It's just I have to ease it in. You understand when I'm getting yelled at about waivers and hear about how I changed the rules. And, especially if you're going to sit there and come after someone like me with my long-term memory, and I can specifically fucking remember a 2000 draft, 2007
Oh, draft. I know, right. I try not to challenge you in those situations.
And, he's like, when he's sitting there saying I changed rules, and it's like, you know what, dude? Brad looked into the Yahoo rolling waivers thing in this league. The only reason I didn't switch it over is I didn't feel like hearing them. But you know what, dude? I hear them anyway.
Right.
I'm at the point. It's just like, dude.
I try not to bug you on that. And, I vote for rolling waivers because I think it's going to be exactly what Yahoo is. And,
But, the way Brad read it and I read it, it was sort of like, it sounds like it's forever waivers.
Right. And I can understand your interpretation, and I haven't really read it, but you described it to me. And you know what? I can't 100% disagree with you. And the only way we can do that really is for like week 1 of next year. Because
yeah, and that's it. But it's just like it doesn't, and it's just like
he's a terrible dynasty mind, dude. Really. I mean, not to insult him. Like, he's a great. His fantasy, expertise is it's clear. He's one of the best.
But it's the idea that it's just like he's just a typical local. He has his script ready, and he has everything. He obviously doesn't read my posts.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen, just like most fucking locals. Just like my ex I just threw out of my life. It's just like, great, you've got a great script, but the problem is you left out the details that contain the truth.
You sound like Romney last night.
What?
Said you sound like Mitt Romney last night. Did you watch any of the debate?
Oh, I didn't even see the debate.
Oh, man. I mean,
it doesn't sound like anybody was good.
No, read. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I thought it was somewhat compelling, and I read a lot of the reviews. They're somewhat, in my opinion, surprising. Except that
so many reviews, it doesn't sound like it's just.
Well, they are
Bottom
attacking
line is,
Romney's like
this is a guy who
facts.
got Vincent Jackson and Calvin Johnson by pushing the grain on like gentleman laws. You know what I'm saying? On like
Right.
gentlemen, like you know what I'm saying. And now that I have established domain
Well,
through the website,
and he's
before, I
frustrated
didn't want
because
to deal with program on the website.
Pate,
But now I do.
listen.
For him.
He's frustrated because normally he would only have like one win right now because the 1 week he played me, he scored like 240. But this week I really should have beat him because he played bad. I mean, I played badly, but he knows this team. He should have like a 1-3 team.
And another thing too, dude, he's made a living off of picking up guys on Sunday when a running back goes down, and when a Mod Bradshaw got a concussion and he couldn't pick up
Right, Andre Brown.
Mike Brown, and more
Andre, I think it's Andre. Right.
And then
Oh, because he was on waivers.
Yeah, but everyone's doing waivers. No football league I play in, you can do that anymore.
Dude, it's waivers is the standard in fantasy. And, I can't believe, I've had to argue over it in my league for 2 years, but finally Yahoo has come up with the waivers as you go system, meaning that tonight's players are now on waivers or are about to be in 3 minutes. I don't know if the game started yet, but, I got to set my DVR.
In the college league I play in, dude, like, waivers start at 12 at noon for everybody. Like,
right.
I can't pick up anybody at the 12. And those guys are the original Dynasty League guys whose league I waited to be in before I started mine. So it's like it's a standard. It's just standard. It's
right.
It's the way of the world. Like, and you know what, dude, the best is he texted me one day, your website doesn't have Darryl Richardson. You know?
Really?
I go, yes, it does. I've had Darryl Richardson since August. He doesn't even know how to go to reports and type in a guy's name.
Right.
See if he's on someone's team.
Well, speaking of that though, let me interrupt you. I'm somewhat surprised that Mario Manningham got dropped. Speaking of reading the reports.
Yeah.
But I know what's going on. And I studied it, and right now I'm not picking up Manningham, but you have to know what's going on.
But the best is, like, it's 7 years in the website. You don't know how to go to reports, open that window, see the little square, and type in the guy's name.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. Right. That's what you're talking about, dude. That was like, it took me 2 weeks.
That's the first thing I taught
you. Right. And then that's what I do. I do that on my smartphone, and I'm like, bam, 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 and I can pick up see the players, see what team he's on, news, stats for that season. You're one click away from last year's stats.
It's unbelievable that he's 7 years. It's like he's purposely not learning the website. He's been trying for 7 years to get off this website. He doesn't get it. I'm not moving.
You're not, dude, and I can't let you move. This is the best website.
It's all like, that's what it is. Like, he's my cousin. I know how he is. He will fight, and he doesn't even have a point. He just keeps fighting.
Yeah, and some people,
I think he should seriously take some medication because I don't think he feels joy. It's just like, dude, he almost drove me to quit my own league last year with this waiver thing, and this year, here I'm in the middle of a win streak, and I'm just like not gonna sit there and fight over waivers. I'm not gonna do it. Like,
well,
I texted him earlier this week. If you want to quit, I can replace you soon.
You can replace him right away, dude. Whalen would step in right away.
Whalen is so ready to step in. In fact, when I text Whalen, like, we may have an opening. He texts mid-season. Like, he's not, Whalen called me. Let's put it this way: Whalen called me like days before the draft. Like, he even knows when the draft is. Like Whalen, right? And it's just like, and Cougs wants in this league. Joe Ortiz, he's all the way. Has a friend Hassan from Harlem, who's plays like a stone to shit in. wants in this league.
Well, and unfortunately, this would set us back to where we've had a pretty good record for a long time. Where in reality,
dude,
like
I'm at the point I'm sick of seeing these post waivers suck.
Right.
One of the things,
get rid of them.
It's not like anybody, it's not like anyone chimes in on his side. No one's chiming in on his side. No one's like, I'm with Justin, No one's there. Like, the only guy who might be there is Evil Monkey, but the Evil Monkeys understand that waivers is a standard thing in fantasy football. Brad understands it. And in fact, everyone, I don't care what anyone says, outside of Justin, everyone liked the idea of worst to first, like the NFL does it.
That's the way it should be in your league, bro. My team has been, I should have first priority every week. I'm trying to rebuild a franchise that was in shambles. I took over a terrible crap team.
I would like to get it to
I don't complain.
I would love to get it to seizing rolling like Yahoo. But I did not trust this. The first time I ever seen that in this league, and I did not trust it. So I snaked the waivers, which I think was more than fair. Snaking the waivers.
Right. At least I get the first pick every. I get every week. I get but I.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I had the 10th pick this week. I still got Andre Roberts.
Well, I didn't even participate in waivers this week, dude, because I'm not desperate to pick up. I'm not going to do these knee-jerk things that cost me Greg Little last year, and thank goodness I got him back.
Yeah, but you also got I got freaking, dude, like, I got guys like
Dennis Pitta.
Victor Cruz. I got Demarius Thomas in my second round of waivers last year. Victor Cruz is my first, and I got Demarius Thomas next. It was just like something like that.
I picked up Malcolm Floyd in the off season, dude.
Yeah, but it's just the whole point is like not everyone uses their waivers every week. Everyone will kind of wait. Like,
well, that's why I want the rolling waivers. That's why I like what. Do you still notice that week 5 who has the number 1 waiver in Sir Yes Sir? And it's me. I've held on to it all season.
Yeah, but the only disadvantage for having number 1, and you're almost afraid to use it. And finally, I just got sick of having it.
Right.
So I picked up Andre Roberts. But like that's the problem with having number 1. It makes you sit there like.
Right, you're absolutely right. Every week I haven't made a move because I'm like, I'm 4-0. I don't need it. I could have picked up one of the quarterbacks, which I need because I don't have a third quarterback in my league.
I dropped Tebow last full moon.
In my league, I know, and I'm like, I don't want to use my waiver claim on him. Actually, I can go get him right now.
And I know who picked him up.
Who got him?
Criticized me the most for drafting him.
Who got him? Buster?
No, Belushi's boy, Chris.
No, Bokino? Oh, shoot.
He criticized me the most for drafting him, and I kind of regret dropping him. I'll admit it. I think it was a full moon decision. It was also based on, well, you know what? How bad is fucking Bush's knee injury? And
right.
Bush in the past, once he's injured, he gets dinged.
Oh, my dad dropped J. Stu.
Your dad has the most interesting drop ever.
He dropped Sean. We all killed him.
Between him and you can go all the way, man. You gotta stay on top of the fucking transaction line because you don't know who they're dropping.
My dad loves Rod Stevens Howling. I think he has him every year. I mean, in my league,
nothing. He has like 2 big weeks a year.
I actually was telling my dad though a couple weeks ago. I'm like, drop J. Stu, get rid of him, and the guy scores a touchdown. But I guess he's not going to start him. Just dump him.
Dude, my team is better than 1-3 in your league. I just know my team's going to make a run.
Where are you at in the points? You're 681. Oh, no.
Cutler had sucked until the fourth quarter of the Cowboy game. Cutler had sucked until the second half of the Cowboy game.
Oh, bro, you're like You're top in the league in points against.
Dude, and I'm not scoring.
No, you have 531. That's low. But top, that's like me in your league. I'm second in points against. I'm not too bad.
But you know what, dude? I've also played 2 undefeated teams. I've also played Prodigy and Belushi's boys.
Those teams are very talented.
And I lost to your old man. And I lost to those 2. And I beat Blake. I have not had an easy. I got Brian Ridd. If I lose this week, I have no one to blame but my players. Because if you look at the bye week that Riz has, I should have this fucking week. I should have it. This should be my week against Riz. If I lose this week, I got problems.
You'll be down to 1 and 4.
1 and 4. I should take this of my bad start. I have no excuses this week in your league. None. I should get out of my slump this week against Riz. Because he has a bad team and he has a lot of buys.
Yeah, real quick. He has his Freeman and Calvin Johnson are on a bye week. He has no backup quarterback. I guess he has to put Sean Hill there, who's also on a bye. So he has no second quarterback.
I forget who has the best combo. I probably have the top 3 combo quarterbacks in your league. I really do. I have the top 2 or 3. And that's very important in your league. And that's what's going to... I had a great start in your league last year.
That's why I'm holding on to that. That's why I'm holding on to that number 1 waiver. And some people have started to say that Matt Castle's wearing thin in Kansas City, so I picked up Sean Hill or Brady Quinn today.
No, Quinn ain't taking this job.
Well,
if he does, I'll be surprised.
I'm waiting on that number 1 pick because I had the number 1 waiver when Carson Palmer was the hot pick last year, and I picked him up.
I might pawn off Steven Jackson on fucking Prodigy. Because I don't think Steven Jackson.
No, I don't know. I don't know if Kramer's gonna like Steven Jackson. So well, I don't know. I don't want to talk you in and out of trades, but I'm selling on Steven Jackson.
I think Darryl Richardson's finishing the year as the starter.
And you have Richardson, sir? Yes, sir.
I have him in every league.
That's like me and Percy Harvin, except my league is the only league I think I don't have. No, I do have Percy in my league. I have a great receiving core in my league.
I've decided I'm going to bench Brett. Alfred Morris has split the new age big 3.
I actually I started Ryan Williams in my league this week.
Dude, he's going to be he's the reason. Him and McFadden, and of course the rest of the Sex Panthers team, is why I actually voted the Sex Panthers to win my division. But you know what, dude? If I beat the Evil Monkeys this week, and he could go all the way and beat the Sex Panther, and Blue Line beats fucking Big Dummies, I have a 3-game lead on the rest of the division.
You know how I got Ryan Williams? And sir, yes, sir, I traded Jermaine Gresham to Whalen.
That's a good trade. Although Jermaine Gresham's going to do something. But I think this is Williams' breakout.
Well, Whalen needed a tight end, and I had just picked up Kyle Rudolph off, free agency, not even waivers. And, of course, I have Jimmy Graham as my starter. So, obviously, Gresham was an asset, and I figured Whalen needed a tight end because Hernandez went down. And real quick, I offered him Gresham for Ryan Williams. He took it. And then 2 days later, he's like, can I have him back?
Yeah, too bad, Whalen. Too bad. He didn't pull the old, I hit the wrong button shit.
Well, no, because I talked to him about the trade, and he was happy with it, but then Ryan Williams had that nice Sunday.
Yeah, Ryan Williams. That is like, I didn't understand why Brad kept pumping him up. He goes, well, the Sex Panthers, Eric's going to get him back after injury. I knew nothing about the guy. I really didn't know anything about him.
It's like Stephen Ridley.
When I saw him running in the preseason, I was like, holy shit. And I saw, there was the Raiders versus Cardinals in a preseason game, and I saw those 2 running backs, and I was like, if they stay healthy, the Sex Panthers for real, because he's got a lot of pieces. He's always been weak at running back. And then he drafted David Wilson. But you know what, dude?
That's not going to probably work out for him, at least not now.
Yeah, but it will on the down soon. But what's so funny about it, once I drafted RG3, he wanted to trade on. And I almost decided to, well, if you want RG3, I want Ahmad Brashaw's handcuff. But I thought about it, no, dude, I really got to I got a lifetime player here after Brady retired.
And you don't have Rashard Jennings, though, do you?
Don't need him.
It might be somebody you should bury on that taxi squad.
Miller, Darrell Richardson, and Alfred Morris. That's my young three behind fucking Gore, Jones, Drew, and Bradshaw. And I also got Kendall Hunter. And I got Kevin Smith. I think Kevin Smith's gonna get it. I'm not giving up. He still has the most averages per carry out of all the running backs.
A lot of the roto experts would disagree with you, but not saying you're wrong.
I'm not giving up. There's a reason why I haven't given him up yet. Most people would have cut Kevin Smith. I haven't cut him in any league I have him in.
Well, I haven't done that with Bernard Scott. And, he's basically been hurt and hasn't done anything in his career. But I've held on to him. Unlike Tim Tebow.
I cut him.
Who I drafted.
I still got him in the Dynasty League.
Well, I know, but I'm saying I drafted him in the Dynasty League, and I didn't hold on to him, and I kind of wish I had just buried him back there.
The only reason why I haven't cut him yet is I really think he's going to be starting.
Oh, I think he's going to be starting after this week, or even during this week, or before Sunday. It's probably too late for now because tomorrow's Friday's practice.
One of the reasons why I got rid of him in your league is because I was thin, and he was becoming a distraction, just like he probably is to the Jets locker room. In my league, he's not a problem. He's just taking a roster spot. But like your league, I needed other things.
It's a shame they don't give stats for pancakes in my league. Tebow would be fine. He was flattening people on the blocking schemes that he was working last Sunday.
Oh, dude, he's good. The Jets and Giants have the same record, but the Jets are in trouble. They are serious.
The Jets are terrible. They're terrible. I told you this last week.
Yeah, I knew the Niners were going to blow them out too. I felt that too. It was all the 2-1. Jet fans were thinking, we're sure we still belong in the top of the NFL.
Hey, it was one of those. Listen to me. It was one of those perfect storms where I watched the Viking game and the Jet game pretty much simultaneously, and then it was the same opponent, the Niners. And I told you, I know how the Vikings beat the Niners, and it didn't matter that they were playing at Giant Stadium. I said that they would systematically pick apart the Jets and run on them all day long, and they ran for almost 240 yards. The quarterback, two quarterbacks, ran for a combined 90 yards. Or 86 yards between two quarterbacks rushing in that game.
They pulled the Wildcat on them. They just came in and just...
Jets weren't even...
Rex Ryan got outcoached.
And that and that's what we were talking about last week, is that Harbaugh got outcoached. You can always get outcoached in the NFL, and Harbaugh learned his lesson in the Viking game. And, on the road, Hasselhoff, we got to come up with something, just, a quick pop in the chin. And when Kaepernick ran for that 40-whatever-yard dash, I knew right then and there it was over. And at that point, I think it was only, 10-0 or 14-0, whatever. But, I said game over right then and there.
Well, the Jets hung around a bit, but it was very clear the defense kept them in just for about another quarter.
Well, the Niners stomped on them in the second half, and the Jets should have put Tebow in it.
The Niners hurt their body. They had the job established. The Jets were throwing punches while stepping back. It was only a matter of time before the big shot landed, and then the flurries came, and then that Santonio Holmes play where he just kind of fumbled the ball up. That was just a symbol of what was coming.
Well, I know. Yes, that was ironic.
That was the lightning and thunder strike at once.
Right, and that's symbolic. It was symbolic. It's a symbolic play. And Mark Sanchez it wasn't like this, but he's showing you now, and it has a lot to do with because he doesn't have the cast around him that he had in his first 2 years. That when you punch him in the lip, he bleeds, and the guy doesn't like it. I don't think he likes getting knocked around. It's not the same like what it was the first 2 years of his career.
It's not the same team, at all.
He doesn't have nearly the offensive line.
And the Jets defense has not been good for the last 2 seasons.
Well, and now they have no Revis for the rest of,
Then they lost Revis. And now they lost their best offensive threat. They're done.
Right. Unless Dustin Keller is the next coming of Tony Gonzalez when he comes back healthy. And that's not going to be the case. They're done.
I decided not. I played Andre Roberts in the 2 Yahoo League. I decided not to play him. I didn't feel comfortable putting my streak against the Evil Monkeys.
You know what?
Even if I just kept my 2 tight ends, Cook and Davis, and I'm ready to go. Real
quick though, let me say that. Speaking of the Jets, with this, so long as Mark Sanchez is the quarterback, Jeremy Curley. Is that his name or Jimmy Curley? It's Jeremy Curley, right? He's
what are we talking about?
He's a good fantasy wide receiver. He's going to put up numbers. I thought it was going to be Stephen Hill, who
I think he's the number 1 guy now.
I think he is. And if they're going to, so I think somebody has him in your league, right?
I don't know if anyone has him, but on the Jets, who else is there?
If nobody has Curley, I'm picking him up right now.
The Jets are in so much trouble. It's hysterical, dude.
He could go all the way as Curley.
Oh, of course it would be him. Of course. He has the most, that franchise and play to win the game, I'm convinced, are cursed franchise. They're always talented, and they do nothing.
Jets and the Vikes. My 2 teams, I'm not nearly the Jets. I follow the Jets, but, I'm a Vikings fan. But it's ironic that those are the teams I root for, and the Mets, and the Knicks.
Yeah, you root for a lot of cursed franchises.
The Vikings, I don't think the NFL has a thing of the top 10 most snake-bitten franchise, and the Vikings are at least 2, if not 1. I forget which one it is.
I remember that countdown. Who was 1 in that countdown?
I think the Vikes were 2. Number 1 was Buffalo. Because even though the Vikings lost 4, losing 4 in a row is, and then the Mississippi or the mile, whatever the frick.
That's right. Yeah.
Memphis Miracle. What are the Music City Miracle?
Oh man.
And then, dude. Another thing that they ruined themselves is Doug Flutie takes the team. The team was going nowhere. I think it was 99. Flutie gets him in the playoffs. Wade Phillips makes the move to Rob Johnson, and then the Music City Miracle happens.
Yeah.
Stick with Flutie. That would not happen to Doug Flutie. You have to agree with that, Pate. The Music City Miracle would not happen against Doug Flutie. No way.
That was so funny, man. That was so funny, dude. I remember But, dude, I just want to beat the Monkeys, go to 5-0.
5-0. I feel the same way. It's me against Bob in my league. I'm not writing myself off in your league, but clearly at 4-0 and second in the points. And, when Stevie Johnson and Michael Crabtree are fighting for your wide receiver 3 spots, I think I'm clearly headed towards the playoffs. I was worried about Willis McGahee, and I guess, I don't need to be. Spiller, is back, down on my bench. LaShore, Thomas. When those guys are on my bench and Doug Martin is going to be reliable, and, I think, obviously, I'm headed back towards the playoffs. That's an impressive roster. And then when he...
Yes, sir.
Eli, well, you need the win. I obviously don't.
I have everything in my favor. If I lose this week, I might resign as head coach.
The Andy Dalton to AJ Green connection has worked very much in my favor, having them both. And then plus Eli. Paint, do you remember what I was saying, walking around before the draft? And I said, this is the year of Eli. And I wasn't even aiming to draft Eli. I'm walking around going, this is the year of Eli. I think he's going to be an MVP candidate at the end of the year.
It's the year of Tebow taking over Sanchez.
Well, no, the year of Tebow was last year. I think that Eli Manning could win an NFL MVP this year. I really do. Because Aaron Rodgers is not off to the same start.
He put up enough to win it last year. Just unfortunately, there was other guys who were amazing. Rodgers. You can't take it from Rodgers.
Rodgers had the amazing year, but I think this is Eli's year because the Giants' rushing game is just it's supplemental at this point. And Eli's like his brother now. It doesn't matter who's at wide receiver. If it's Nix, Cruz, Barden, Hickson,
he throws it to him.
If they're open, he gets the ball, and the guys are catching the ball. And and obviously he's hitting the tight end, Bennett.
He is. And Pasco.
Pasco. He's hitting them all. So somebody asked me the question yesterday: is Eli better than his brother? And it's not fair because I don't really have film and tapes of me saying this, but I was saying it. I'm telling you, when he was at Ole Miss.
I love him at Ole Miss, man.
He put up better stats than his brother. He carried Ole Miss. Tennessee is a monster powerhouse program. Without Eli, Ole Miss has not been really anything. Eli.
He got Ole Miss to 8 games, man. He wins. That's huge for Ole Miss.
He's bombing the ball everywhere.
Ole Miss hasn't beaten Alabama since the civil rights. It's just like, I don't know. What do you do in Ole Miss, man? You play Alabama every year, you lose.
One thing that I don't think Giants fans appreciate, though, is that the sideline connection that Eli had with Armani Toomer Armani, and then Mario Manningham. The sideline, Mario Manningham's a sideline master.
But I've never doubted him. I loved it when he got at him. And it's just every quarterback has a bad day, but he is what you're looking at right now is a 2-time Super Bowl quarterback.
I know, but Eli better hook, and he was hooking up with Barden.
In his prime now.
Well, I know he's a master. He's a football master general now. And I'm sure that Peyton Manning spent a lot of time. You'd have to think, having that whole year off. Although he obviously was very close with the Colts and their offense, I'm sure he was a lot more involved with Eli's year as well. And I think that right now Eli is as educated and confident, and he has the talent, and he has more raw, better physical skills than Manning.
More athletic than his brother.
Well, than his brother. Well, yeah, right. Than Peyton. I mean, I think he's the man, and I hope that he can carry me to a championship. It would be totally great if the one year that Aaron Rodgers had the MVP and I was discounting, double checking to my way to a fantasy title, and then it's Eli Manning doing it the next year. And I think that Eli right now I think is the MVP, even though the Giants are 2-2. The Giants would be probably 0-4. Clearly without Eli Manning.
I'm surprised you survived. But the Packers lost third last week. You survived that game against KC where Rodgers did nothing. That's the week that the Monkeys got knocked out by Blue Line, where Rodgers put up nothing. Jeez. That would be the semifinals. You survived that.
Right. Well, I think Carson Palmer had a big week.
You survived that. Like, the evil Monkeys got...
I could paint with...
He just got stomped.
With 2 clicks of a mouse.
Blue Line for years in the playoffs. And Blue Line, by the way, is a threat in the Dynasty League. His team is a serious threat. He's been hanging around in mediocrity for years, and now he's got a lot of good pieces.
The semifinals, Payne. I beat my dad 178 to 171. We both outscored Brett, who beat Waylon 166 to 133 in that round.
Fucking Waylon.
Waylon only put up one, but me and my dad both outscored both the other teams.
That's awesome.
Me and my dad I think we were down in Florida together. We might not have been that week. We might have been. I can't quite recall it all. But, I mean, we're talking, and I'm like, Dad, this sucks. You know, I just hope that whoever, obviously, the better team is next week wins. And I put up 190 in that final week against Brett P. And that was the big score. And Brett only put up 161.
Brett P.
Brett P had a great year. He dominated that other division. The division you're in.
Yeah, I was just hanging around till about October, and then I just faded.
Well, there's reason to fear both, obviously, Kramer's team and Bokino's team, though. Bokino's team just gets stronger every day. You know, if Daenerys Moore is going to be a receiver, if Mendenhall rises, if Stephen Hill starts to make a splash, he has Hasselback, Tebow, RG3, and Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Steve Smith. Now, Lance Moore, I think, is hurt. He's not playing this week. But, you know, Gore, Sproles, Tony Gonzalez, Amendola, Marshawn Lynch. This is a very talented team, and it's no wonder he's leading our league in points.
Well, you still got to see me one more time, and I'll be ready. Well, dude, I got to get going. I got to go drive to my boss's house. I got to give him a ride to the airport tomorrow morning, so...
All right,
sometime this weekend.
Keep an eye out. We'll throw the tape up on the SIR, then the Facebook page. Yeah, if we're around this weekend, let's get together.
You got it, buddy.
Take it easy.